All right, Genesis 48. Let's call this one crossing because Jacob is literally going to be crossing his hands as he blesses Joseph's sons in this chapter. And the first thing to notice may not be what he has crossed as much as it is what he has perfectly straight, and that is the source of these blessings. He's going to literally make clear what we've been implicitly seeing through the prior generations, and that is God is the one empowering these words. Beginning at verse 15, stating, "And he blessed Joseph and said, the God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has been my shepherd all my life long to this day, the angel who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the boys." He is asking God to do what we have implicitly seen him doing behind the scenes. When Abraham went out towards 75 years of age, not winning wars on 75-year-old power, winning wars on the power of God. Melchizedek, the priest, noticing that after he comes back from battle. Likewise, his son Isaac, not overcoming the enemies around him to be a successful man amongst enemies, not by his own power, but God empowering him to keep digging in a situation where they were spoiling his wells. However, when Isaac wanted to bless Esau, the older, above the younger son Jacob, God was not going to stand for it because he had already spoken through his wife the fact that Jacob was going to be blessed above his older brother Esau. And so when Isaac tried to go a different way, we see that the words he intended ended up falling on Jacob and blessing him exactly as God had previously stated. And so now we're seeing Jacob catching on, realizing that no matter what Joseph's expectation is, he needs to cross his hands to bless the boys in the order that God has ordained. And so we're going to see a couple of crossovers, or at least two crossovers coming from that. One, he is not limited by his physical decline, because verse 10 is going to say, the eyes of Israel were dim with age so that he could not see. Joseph is going to bring the boys in the traditional order, trying to probably make it easier for his dad to do the right thing. And he's going to bring the older to his right hand to receive the greater blessing, the younger to his left hand to receive the lesser blessing. But spiritual insight and spiritual sight is going to allow Jacob to know he needs to cross his hands to bless these boys in accordance to the power that God is going to provide. So understand this. You may have physical limitations, whether it is simply a talent differential or a deficiency that you have from birth. Understand, the God who gives assorted talents is the one who can help you overcome a talent deficit or a physical limitation. Understand this, just in the physical world, those who are born without sight often learn over time how to compensate through other senses like smell and hearing in ways that actually surpass our ability as sighted persons to use those senses. And so God, in the same way as the giver of the gifts, he can help a man in a spiritual sense understand beyond those who are sighted the way that things need to go, no matter how limited his physical sight is. See, he has overcome the way that things are physically arranged for him to spiritually understand how to get God's work done. Moreover, he is not bound, meaning God is not bound by our traditions. And so this is one of the first indications we're going to see where God is going to throw a crossover on mankind, understanding that Jacob got the first indication when he, the younger, was blessed above the older. It seems by this time that it was traditional for the older to get the better blessing. But now we're seeing in two different generations where God is saying, I am not bound by human tradition. And so understanding that Jacob has the spiritual insight to defy human tradition and accomplish God's purpose. Understand, Paul is going to say it this way. Even though my outward person or my outward man is declining, my inward spiritual is increasing day by day, meaning even though he is at his later age experiencing physical decline, God is strengthening him. And it's not just by nature of age. Why? Everybody gets old, not everybody gets wiser. The Hebrew writer is going to show us that it is by reason of use that we acquire heightened spiritual discernment over the years. And so it seems chapter 48 is showing us ways in which God is crossing over not only human tradition, but physical decline. Reminding me again of the friend who told me, Marcus, look, it is not practice that makes perfect. It is perfect practice that makes perfect. And so understanding that perfect wisdom comes from a place beyond us, my prayer is that we tap into the levels of wisdom that allow us to genuinely grow wiser, even as we physically decline.